It's going down right now with the Joseph Bar podcast. Make sure y'all watch the Joseph Bar podcast. Bringing off right now. I am the KID, the Kid Capri. You know what it is. Salute, Block Party action. Me.
Okay.
Let's do this. Dr. Judy Solis, how are you today?
I'm doing well, but boy, I really can't hear you.
Well, good to have you here. And, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing a lot about what you got going on today. Judy Solis, passionate educator, leader of learners, effective communicator. Talk to me. How's it going? What's going on?
Oh, what's going on is that I threw my name in the hat to run for school board at La Jolla ISD for place 6. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Really, lots is going on.
Is this your first time running for anything?
Yes, it is. Unless you count in high school running for treasurer or running for, the president or something like that at school level. But no, this is the very first time. I've always been there to support others, but not me. First time.
Well, now this is you. Now it is your turn. Are you excited? It's a lot of excitement,
I'm excited.
especially for you and for everybody that supports you. Now, Dr. Solis, this race that you're running in is about a school board. Talk to me a little bit about your background. Why are you so fit for this position?
Well, I can start off by saying that, everybody can say it's passion and it's the love and, things of that nature, which is true. But I have 40 years of experience in education. I went from a teacher and I told myself I was going to be a solid teacher. So I stayed in the classroom for 10 years as a regular classroom teacher and then 2 years as a gifted and talented teacher where kids would come into my classrooms. And then once I felt confident, I was really asked, kind of pushed into an assistant principalship. And then soon after, I became a principal at elementary, middle, and high school. And I felt that the experience really, it opened up my eyes to see through the lens of the different levels of educators. From then, I went on to central office. I went and became a superintendent. I worked at a large urban school because I wanted to know what that was like. And it was an amazing experience for me. You just see things through a different lens. I've served as a dropout prevention. I was even in charge of athletics, my last district for the entire district, and it was a large district. I was in charge of 15 schools from pre-K to 16, which was the college level. Right now, I am serving as a deputy director at Region 1, and I help all districts from Laredo to Falfurrias to Brownsville across different counties. I work directly with school boards. That's really one of my main focuses is to work with school boards. But my division is really community impact and what we can do. So we go from the babies when they're born all the way to adults that need their GED or need to get a job skill. So it's really a wide array of experiences that I've had that I bring to the table. And I'm in charge of school policy and all these wonderful things that I have to help the districts with.
Wow, let's take a breath.
Yes, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
40 years is a lot of years.
No, but honestly, like when you were talking about a lot of years, we're talking about experience and experience in the most important times. Right now, schools are dealing with a lot of important issues such as safety. All right. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you impact with your current role, how you impact the schools with respect to safety. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, that's one of the departments. It's under my division because it is, leadership and community impact, and safety is a hot topic. And really it has been for many years, but most recently with what's gone on in the state of Texas with the shootings, it's very critical and it's very important. And not only with the shooting and that type of violence, but even the viruses that we have now. Flu is impacting the districts tremendously, and so is, COVID. Look what it did to all of us. It impacted all of our lives. So I have a division that was created prior to COVID, of course, but because we talked about safety in transportation, safety in facilities, and making sure the science labs were safe for the kids. But now it's really focusing more on not only the COVID, the viruses, the flus, but now the violence. And we're actually conducting audits at different schools, and the School Safety Center in San Marcos is actually telling us which schools to go and conduct these audits. And it's very precise, very detailed. I personally went through the training myself, because how could I support my staff if I didn't experience what they were going through? So it's really good work. And of course, sometimes audits may not come out as beautiful as someone would like, but it's really an eye opener that we need to pay attention to details, because those are our precious children and staff, the workers in our building. So we've got to be on guard, because we can't say it doesn't happen here. It can happen anywhere.
Let me ask you this question, because there seems to be an understanding from parents about what school board members do. What is the role of a school board member? Is it to get involved with teachers and how they teach classes? Is it to get involved with principals? What's the role of the school board member?
The role of the school board is not to micromanage. And I know that's a very harsh word, but that's how when I train, this is what I talk about. They're there to do the oversight. For example, at the beginning or at the end of the year, depending when they have their budgets due, when the decisions have been made, the school board looks at data. And right now, the state is saying they want the school boards to focus the majority of their time and their work on monitoring the real work, which is that impacts the kids, not the color of the turf in the football field. All that is fine, but to, make decisions and move on. Listen to the constituents, listen to the staff, take their recommendations and move on. Their focus should be on improving student outcomes. And in between, while you're doing that, their focus would be to create goals for the district. And once those goals are met or, created and approved by the board, then the district starts working on their district plan, on how they're going to roll out. Because something that some people don't understand or it's not clear is that the state tells us what we need to do for our children, but they don't tell us how. And the how is where the uniqueness comes in of each district. And you can see that when you read their mottos, they might sound almost the same. Their goals might be almost the same, but their processes and their systems are very different. So the role of the school board is not just to set the goals, the direction that the district wants to go in. For example, if there's a third grade in a district is doing poorly, well, they want you to focus on third grade, possibly the third grade language and math. And so they're going to create a goal that's going to be around the academics. So it's very tailored, and there's got to be that synergy between the school board and the superintendent in order to make things go in the right direction. Because remember, the focus now is to really look at student outcomes. And if they're not aligned, if they're not working as a team and setting up procedures and processes, then, or really approving, then you're not going to get the outcomes that you want. So going back to your question, the role of the board is to work closely with the superintendent under their advisement. They can work on the goals, and the state already has 3 major goals that it's very easy for the district to adopt and to modify, and then adding 2 more. They could be such as maybe wanting financial literacy by the time the students graduate. It could be wanting certain endorsements to be focused on. It depends, right, of the district. So once they adopt those goals, their job is to ask for information throughout the year and monitor the progress of the goals. And how they do that is by just asking questions, letting the staff present to them, how are we doing? And you don't wait till the very end of the year, but throughout the year. So one of the things that I do when I train school boards is look at your board agenda. How much time are you actually spending on really the real work, which is monitoring the progress of the kids? Because you don't want to wait till after the fact or after the scores. So their role is to work collaboratively with the superintendent. Meanwhile, the superintendent is working with his or her team to establish processes and procedures. which the board does adopt, and they work on their district plan. Then the campuses work on their campus plans, because you might have elementary A that's doing poorly in third grade, so they're going to have to step it up there, or you might have elementary B that's doing very well in third grade math. So the goals for the campus would be different, but it's all focused and aligned with the goals of the board. And really their role, going back, you asked about getting involved in how teachers teach. That's not their role. The experts are in the classrooms. The experts are the leaders. They should be the experts. And if they're not, then, conversations need to be had. But really the experts are the teachers. They get to know their kids far more than a board member.
What now? La Jolla ISD is a town in Hidalgo County on the western part of Hidalgo County. For the listeners that are out there, we're talking about a very large school district that encompasses many different small towns, such as Penita, La Habana, La Jolla, Palmview, Sullivan City. All of these areas are part of that school district. So it's a very large area to canvas as an individual. Now, my question to you, Dr. Solis, is what do you think is the most important thing? Well, on average, what do you think would be the most important item for parents right now? And what do they want of a school board member? What do you feel is that important item?
I think one of the things that I pointed out, and I'm a grandma, and my daughter went to this school system, is to be honest. And it's so easy to print it on your campaign material. Oh, honesty, integrity, trust, but let your actions speak for the word. Be open, be transparent. Tell the parents, this is what we're facing right now. If it's a financial situation, a crunch that has to happen, well, then share it. Nothing should be secret. And don't keep the parents from getting involved. Teach them, guide them, because ultimately they're going to support the school system in educating their kids. So I think the parents, because of the most recent incident in Uvalde, unfortunately, safety is very critical. And then we keep hearing from the county about the flu and about, COVID's not over, but the flu is really coming strong. And a lot of the children are absent.
Let's talk about that real quick for a second. Mm-hmm. Right now, if I understand this correctly, if there are more than 5% of the staff and students that are out at a certain point, then that's considered an outbreak. Do you feel that the county or the areas or the school districts are hitting these targets right now in the flu season, or what is the data telling us right now?
Well, right now, I can tell you, I don't know the numbers. I'm not an expert in the numbers, but we did have an emergency meeting with all of the district nurses last Monday, because we got a call at the office from the county and telling us that we need to spread the word. We need to tell them that they need to, make sure that the areas are clean, make sure that they have their protocols in place, because it is hitting hard. They were getting, just in one day, they said they had like 7 little children that were very, very ill in the hospital. So things are happening. And so we try to educate and share the data and the information with the schools, but it's really up to the schools to put it into practice, to take the information and make decisions for their own, because every school district is different. Like I mentioned, they tell us what we should be doing, but they don't tell us how. And that's the uniqueness of a district. Our role at the center where I work is not to dictate anything to districts. We're there as a service. We're there to support and to give them the information. And then the district makes the decisions, the board and the superintendent. Is it to buy filter systems? Is it to hire someone, if you have too many absences, particularly in one particular school? Well, you send a team in there. Let's go in and let's disinfect, or let's, sanitize, whatever it takes. So that's really up to the district to set forth whatever practice, whatever procedure systems that they put into practice. So for a parent, a grandma, abuelita like me, you worry about that when a child or a grandchild is constantly getting ill, comes back from school getting ill, you tend to wonder, and it is alarming.
Can we flip the conversation right now into a dual language conversation? Let's flip it to Spanish. Would you be okay with that?
No, claro que sí.
Bueno, muy bien. Mira, doctora Solís, quiero hacerles unas preguntas en español. ¿Qué es lo más importante que debe de saber un alumno en las escuelas de La Joya ISD?
Lo más importante para mí, como una abuelita, que sea buena persona. Ah, siempre antes, cuando era directora o maestra, les decía, la palabra más importante es en inglés, to care. Que tengan, que sienten amor para las personas, para lo que están haciendo. Porque si uno tiene eso, esa calidad, todo pasa buenísimo. Porque si les importa de algo, van a trabajar duro, van a hacer la tarea, van a llegar a tiempo, se van a vestir, se van a lavar los dientes. Y siempre me decían, ay, miss, yes, we care. Sí los importa de todas las personas. Le dije, porque esa palabra, y también les decía a los maestros, porque esa palabra pequeñita cambia todo.
Sí.
Como ve uno, cómo siente, cómo habla, cómo estudia, cómo limpias, tu recámara o todo. If you care, si te importa. So para mí es muy importante que les importa lo que están haciendo y que tengan amor.
Un gran consejo para todos los alumnos de La Joya. Estamos hablando aquí con la señora Judy Solis, doctora Judy Solis, que tiene bastante experiencia de ser maestra, tiene experiencia de ser administradora principal de escuelas, superintendente de escuelas, asistente superintendente de escuelas. Tiene una gran capacidad de muchas cosas, pero lo importante aquí que es, usted es de La Joya, usted es de la área de La Joya, ¿es correcto eso?
Sí, vivo en Palmview.
Y otra cosa, que usted también tuvo una gran parte de su carrera en las escuelas de La Joya. Háblanos un poco de eso. ¿Cómo se la pasó ahí en La Joya usted?
Comencé como maestra hace bastantitos años, porque este es mi 40 año en la profesión. Comencé mi tercer año, no, 4, ya había trabajado 3 años, 2 años en Mission y 1 año en Roma, porque se enfermó mi mamá, quería estar más cerquita de mi mamá y mi papá, soy la única hija, tengo 2 hermanos y yo, ahí va la hija más cerquita porque no pude trabajar en Río Grande porque tenía un pariente que estaba en la mesa directiva. 1 año allí y luego convencé a mis padres que se vinieran conmigo. Me los traje conmigo a La Joya porque todas las mañanas, yo iba a la mañana que tuviera mi papá su cafecito, almuerzo para mi mamá y me venía al trabajo. Era mucho. Me los traje conmigo. Era el 1985, 4 o 5. Se me hace que hace mucho. Y comencé como maestra de historia y después de varios años, falleció mi mamá y luego después de 1 año falleció mi papá. Fue muy, muy duro para mí, pero la familia aquí en La Joya fue tremenda. Me apoyaron bastante. También tuve cáncer durante ese tiempo que mi mamá se enfermó. Yo sé que hay buenísima gente aquí en La Joya, que sí les importa bastante. Y yo siempre decía, desde que comencé mi carrera, decía, yo tengo 2 familias. Una es mi familia propia, que yo, quería cuidar y apoyar y soportar, pero la otra familia es mis trabajadores, mis compañeros, las familias de los niños que yo era la maestra o directora. Les doy gracias a Dios bastante gracias a Dios que tuve mis 2 familias, porque era fracaso de fracaso, pero el éxito en la escuela era maravilloso. Comencé, como les dije anterior, como maestra, luego fui directora de Benavides Elementary, directora de Ann Richards Middle School y La Joya High School y Juárez High School. Y cada escuela tuvo tremendo éxito por mi familia profesional. Yo no voy a decir que fui yo. Sí, yo soy la guatosa, era la alcahueta y siempre haciendo, siendo fiestas o componiendo como tiempos para reunirlos, no nomás la junta. Tienen que decirle a sus chamacos que vengan y que estudien. No, no, no. Era como yo, la última fiesta o una fiesta que yo tengo bastante orgullo que hice es la fiesta de padres. Y invité a todos los padres para que vieran qué estaban aprendiendo sus hijos.
Ajá.
Y ese ambiente es lo que me da mucho orgullo y me da mucho gusto cuando me recuerdo de esos tiempos o veo las fotos. Tuve bastantísimo éxito, pero como una persona ambiciosa, quería estudiar, salí por delante, me moví a otro distrito para moverme a la oficina central para ayudar en otra posición.
Okay.
Y luego resulté como supertendiente y luego ahí voy. Y aquí soy doctora Solís, pero los títulos no me tiene que decir doctora, soy Judy Solis, servidora.
Pues muchas gracias, servidora, doctora Judy Solis. Yo sí le digo es yo doctora porque es muy merecido y es bastante tiempo
Gracias.
en la educación que uno que toma el esfuerzo para salir adelante por el hecho de la familia y la comunidad. Y muchas gracias por este tiempo, le doy muchas gracias. Un gran saludo para todos de su familia, de su comunidad y espero que le vaya muy bien en su campaña. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Yo soy Josabad Palacios with the Joe's Bot podcast, and we are here in Dole language, and we're going to go ahead and get it going. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Judy Solis. We'll see you in the next episode. Have a great one.
Thank you so much for your time. Adios.